Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video. Let's see what the time is here. Bit after 8:15 on the morning of Sunday, 27th of October, 2024, North American Eastern Daylight Time. So, we're going to talk about the Leafs and their not so good week. The Leafs looked good against the Bolts on home ice, 5-2. Stolarz was a stud. Anthony Stolarz, the de facto Leafs main goalie, was a stud. But again, what happened against those Blue Jackets at the Nationwide Arena? Well, it's going to... So, they stuck up the joint. Dennis Hildeby ended up allowing multiple ugly goals in that loss after having performed relatively well against the New Jersey Devils during the second game of the Leafs 2024-25 regular season. So, question about that. Then Joe Woll, as injury prone as he had been in seasons past, came back, allowed multiple lucky goals, and yet another loss by a country mile, 5-1 to the St. Louis Blues. So yes, this has become a major problem. These Leafs allowing at least 3 goals. 3 losses in a row. What's going on? This feels different from previous seasons. Yes, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and Morgan Rielly all put up points among members of that quintet that a while ago had long included William Nylander. So yes, William Nylander didn't get a point in that loss. Is that a bad thing? Well, the Leafs did get 3 goals. They did score 3 goals. But what's the problem? Well, William Nylander didn't put up a point. He wasn't exactly a factor in a good or bad way. Problem is, William Nylander could have scored a goal or something. What about Nick Robertson? Ugh. And Nick Robertson's on a contract that ends this coming June. So, what's going on with the team? And I have to ask myself, is Craig Berube going to bench Nylander or Robertson? Maybe it's time to send a message to those two to start up in their games. I understand that things didn't change a lot during the Kyle Dubas years as Leaf GM. But my goodness, those are 2 Dubas draftees. Well, maybe not not Dubas draftees. Nylander was drafted before Kyle Dubas. Robertson was drafted by Kyle Dubas. It's time for more players to play 2-way games. Because it can't just all be, Oliver Ekman-Larsson or any one defenseman. But again, it's about this losing culture that has sunk in. Oh yeah, okay, the Leafs have this regular season a 4-4-1-0 win, regulation loss, OT loss, shootout loss record. The Leafs should be lucky that Shan, the hockey guy, I referred to my previous video, didn't bust the Leafs down even further. But make no mistake, these Leafs may very well end up skidding down the power rankings. And even if the Leafs don't, do I feel that these Leafs are going to be a playoff team? I have serious doubts. So let's go to recap before I wrap up this video. October 2022, after just less than 18 hours after the Blue Jays had lost yet another opening round playoff series, Sid Seixeiro, on an episode of City TV Toronto's Breakfast TV, claimed that neither those Jays nor a Leaf team that had just months before lost yet another opening round playoff series had been, quote, a serious team, unquote. January 2023, J.D. Bunkus, on his own podcast on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, claimed that the Raptors had been struggling so badly and there had been pretty much, their chemistry had been non-existent and had thus been, quote, a bad basketball team, unquote. Hold that thought for a moment. I plan to go back to that in a moment to refer to that particular clip. I'm going to go to a 2020, in an April 2023 episode of City TV Toronto's Breakfast TV, which did 6-0, once again, having made a claim on one of Toronto's sports teams. This time, the Raptors. About, quote, a group failure, unquote, of a season. About that supposedly President Ujiri and GM Webster, quote, should have thrown a stick of dynamite, unquote, into that roster. Well, there's no question that the Raptors didn't have such a great season. Yeah, they ended up narrowly losing a play-in game with the Chicago Bulls. Raptors had finished 9th in the Eastern Conference and had needed to thus win this many games just to get into a playoff spot. The Raptors would have qualified as 8th had they managed to do that, but we'll never know if the Raptors could have gone on an amazing run two seasons ago because, well, they never got into a playoff spot in the first place. They played a playoff-type game, just not get into a playoff spot because, well, that's how the cookie crumbles in the NBA. Those teams that finished 7th through 10th in their respective conferences get to play for the final 2 playoff spots. So, we have that there. So, I'm going to go to... I'm going to train a lot here. All right, so May 2024, during the first episode of City TV Toronto's Breakfast TV, following the Leafs' loss of an opening round playoff series to the Bruins, claimed that tying up so much cap space to the Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares quartet had been quite costly and had meant the Leafs were not going to go anywhere. Remember back to the October 2022 episode of that same City TV morning show, but how the Leafs were never going to win a cup with that core? Well, I'd add Morgan Riley in there too, because those core 5 all have full no move clauses. I'm not sure what's going to happen this season, but I really hope that Brad Treliving isn't stupid enough to re-sign Mitch Marner or John Tavares, because neither really deserves a new contract. It's time to move on from the quintet. It's not been smooth sailing, but not just that. It may very well be that this Leaf season will be going down the toilet. And it may be that these Leafs will not even get to play a playoff game. If that's the price for poor performance, then so be it. Maybe it's time to go in a different direction. After all, I go back to a November 2022 episode of the Halford and Brough show on Vancouver's Sportsnet 650, and acclaimed by co-host Jason Brough, that the time had come for the Canucks front office to begin, quote, using some dynamite, unquote, after a not-so-good road trip to Eastern Canada by those Canucks. And that had come hours after a 5-2 loss by those Canucks to the Habs. A rebuilding Habs team versus a barely cap-compliant Canucks one. Those Canucks would end up going on an amazing run during the 2024 postseason, but again, it hadn't been looking good. It looked like the Canucks were going to stay in the muck for seasons to come. Well, the 2022-23 season was a disaster. 12 points out of a playoff spot. Thatcher Demko, the main goalie, injured from very late in the first period of what would become a blowout loss to the Panthers early that December. to, well, late in February, Demko would return. But again, it goes to show that the Leafs cannot rely on just one goalie to get them through. Who's that goalie going to be? To get, if it's not going to be Stolarz. Stolarz cannot be overplayed. I don't want the Leafs to face the same situation as the Canucks with Demko did 2 seasons ago. Oh, that was so bad. Sportsnet still has that video tweet about Demko having been clutching his right hamstring. But I could tell watching that game, it wasn't good. It looked like Demko was going to be out for a while, and oh boy, would I be correct. So yes, I'm hoping the Leafs can turn things around, but Leaf fans and followers, are you confident? The evidence doesn't lie. 3 straight losses, and at least this many goals given up in each. The Leafs were lucky to get a point in that game against the Bruins. The problem is, the Leafs still lost that game. And that's not good. The Leafs really needed that win, but didn't get it. It's not so clear of a turnaround on the horizon. But again, as in this regular season, it's been anything but regular. Pretty much anything goes. On that note, I'm going to say, I do encourage anyone who likes this video, but not necessarily how the Leafs have performed, to look at that like button, or subscribe to my channel, for more content, to continue to have content that I put out in your feed, so it's easier to find, easy to do, subscribe, and it helps the YouTube algorithms promote those videos of mine on the Canadian hockey, soccer, and basketball teams. I mainly cover the NHL ones with respect to hockey, basketball, mainly the Raptors, and soccer, well, it really depends, but the Major League Soccer, when the games are not on Apple TV, I believe the game against LAFC, with the Whitecaps, be on TSN, I forget which TSN channel, but there's no question, go Whitecaps, go, go Raptors, go. Raptors are fun to watch, the Leafs, not so much. So now, also, notification bell, if you're looking for more timely notifications of videos that I put out. I do encourage you to click that notification bell. That means that you go in your feed, click, we have notifications, have that bell, and if it's if there's something with a number in red, you'll know there's a notification about something, and maybe there will be a video that I put out. I try to put out videos, whether long or short ones, multiple times a week. I'm going to wrap things up and take things from there. I hope the Leafs will have a bounce back week, but I don't like their chances against the Winnipeg Jets. Maybe the Leafs come through, but things are not looking good, if you ask me.